It's just a made-up word. He's deceased now. He died a few years ago, but he established IKEA, according to the legend, according to the story. Anyway, he set up a mail order business out of his father's barn in his father's farm, and they sold stationery, greeting cards, pens and paper, things like that. And it was very successful. And the barn, or whatever, the outhouse that he was using in his father's farm, became too small for the business, so he decided to rent other premises. And according to the story, anyway, as they were moving things from the farm to these new premises, they were struggling to get a desk into a car or van. And someone said, "Shame the legs don't come off." And that was where he got the idea of flat pack furniture. If you've ever bought anything IKEA, you usually have to assemble it yourself, or at least part of it. So apparently that's where he got the idea. He opened his first shop just on the outskirts of Stockholm. We'll pass it when we go into Stockholm. When you pass it, you always know that you're almost in the city. So it's on the outskirts of Stockholm. In 1952, he wasn't sure it was going to be a huge success. So he built the building in a circular building, because he thought, if it doesn't prove to be a success, I can turn the building into a multi-story car park. A very astute businessman. Had he not set up the company the way he did, he set it up in a series of trusts and a series of businesses. But if it had all been one business into his name, he would have been by far the richest man in the world. But the way he had it set up, and one of the reasons he had it set up in a series of trusts and in sort of individual sections, was because he didn't want his three sons just to inherit everything and just to be wealthy for having done nothing. So very, very astute as far as money was concerned. He had a bit of a reputation. He didn't give very many interviews. I saw one on Swedish TV once, and I've read a couple in magazines like The Economist and things like that. And he did a fly-on-the-wall documentary about opening his first store in Russia. And that was interesting. And he appeared in that. But he didn't like to appear very often, and he certainly didn't like to give interviews. But they say he was cheap as, right? Watched his wallet very carefully, which is possibly why he was so rich, or could have been so rich. He, according to the stories anyway, he always drove an old car. He never bought new cars. Bought his fruit and vegetables late in the day when the price went down. Only flew economy, and if one of his sons went on business with them, they had to share a room. They couldn't have their own room. And there's a story of him going into a hotel in New York, and he goes up to the desk and he says to the girl, I'm so-and-so, and I would like my room, and blah, blah, blah. And she said, "Oh, yes, sir, no problem." And she gave him a key. Up he went, carrying his own luggage, because he wouldn't tip a porter. Gets up to his room, and he opens the door, and it's a suite. Back down he goes, still carrying his own luggage. And he says to the girl, "This is not what I ordered. I ordered a single room. That's all I'm paying for," and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she said, no, sir, it's a complimentary upgrade. No, we're not expecting you to pay any more. No, sir, it's a complimentary upgrade. Anyway, he goes on and on. I don't need all this space, and don't you be giving me something and then charging me extra. Anyway, finally she lost her patience. She said, "Sir, you're not paying for the room. You own the hotel." I don't know that she lasted the next day, but anyway.